Good evening, my friends, and welcome back to the next episode of the Talos Principle 2. Last time out, we completed our visit to, we went back to New Jerusalem, right, and did a bunch of text-based adventures. Now we've returned to the island to try and find Byron once again. We're on the southern coast, South 1, and about to go into our first puzzle here. Let's check it out. So, phase entry, and we did have a little look at this. We've got a teleporter now that we can use, and a ladder to get us out. Whoops. Aha, okay, so that's going to get us out of there. Can we teleport? You can teleport through an emancipation grid. You can teleport through bars, through emancipation grid, and through blue. No, not through blue. But anything else, basically, fine. Can you bring items? Can you bring items with you when you teleport? You absolutely can, even if it's through. Even if it's through a grid. Huh, okay. Right, we need to bring the fan with us. Huh. Of course. Wait a minute, can I... Oh, you can pull the teleporter. Right, that is kind of important. Sure. Right, here we go. Bing! And this is just an emancipation grid, so I can just walk straight through this one. And then I grab you and teleport through the grid. Drop one here, drop one here. Oh, but I don't have the fan! I don't have the fan. Well, that's fine, because I can just attach the fan. Teleport through the grid again. Right, interesting mechanic, that one. That's gonna be a bit of a funky
I've decoded
one
another file from the data
used to.
stream. Listen to this.
Mother and Father think of our discoveries as a language, a code.
That's good coffee.
But I think they're wrong. They're so caught up in the technical details of running the experiments and upgrading the machine that they're not paying attention to the patterns we're finding, to the symmetries, the harmonies, the melodies. The fundamental language of reality is a kind of music, and it's beautiful. Beauty is an inherent property of the cosmos.
I love the way she looks at things.
So this is the first time I believe that Miranda has referred to Cornelius explicitly as her father. We have a wall down here that we could drill through, but that's not inside a puzzle. So that's something a little meta. The escape, unless it's part of this puzzle, but I'm going to assume not. The escape. We've got a teleporter there. We've got a prism through there, which is just the other side of this. So, yes, I can grab you. And we could make that... Yeah, let's at least start with that being red. It's a pretty good place to start. And now you can't take a driller through its own hole. Very clever. Very clever. And that prism is not going to be able to see that collector. But what does that even do? What does that even do? I feel like I'd be far... Yeah, not quite, right? No, blue is not going to be visible from there. Oh, you can't ever stand like halfway through. The game forces you to be stood one side or the other. Okay, let's break this down. Let's break this down. We've got a wall here which we're going to need to drill through. The drill can drill through an emancipation grid. Yeah. So that is totally drillable. There's nothing directly on the other side of this wall to grab though. So that needs to be used for a prism. The clue is the escape. So what are we trying to escape? We're trying to escape the prism out of here. Yes? Because if we got the prism out, then we'd be able to get the red onto there to grab the teleporter. Can we teleport? It's not that far off. It's not that far off. Can you make the hole slightly higher so that I can see through it better? The teleporter is like, it's somewhere there. Can we move that hole just further right? That's going to get us the best possible angle. No. It's not quite enough. This hole is to put the teleporter on the other side of this hole, and then we can teleport in. Right? That's how we do that. So the only part of the puzzle which is not clear is how we're getting this prism out. How are we getting this prism out? Because we definitely can't open that from here. Not without really long arms. Not without really long arms. Like, I can grab that. Oh, of course, without that being down, you can't actually select the thing behind it anyway. Even if it were there. Right. Wait a minute, hang on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's actually far easier than I thought it was. Far easier than I was making it anyway. We don't need to move the prism out of there at all. Right. Okay, we're going to put you in here. Right, and you're ready to be teleported to. And then all we need to do... we need to put you back here. so that I can get you through the wall again. Pick you up through the wall. Ah, but I do still need to get the... Ah, so maybe I do need to escape it. Ooh. Wait a minute. This is actually not as easy as I was thinking. So, yeah, sure, I can teleport into here. And I got a handy ladder to escape. But I have to have the blue. Oh! No! I need to take the teleporter. No, I need to drop the tool first. Blah! I need to teleport with the thing. We can teleport whilst holding things. Yes, that's how we do it. Can I see the teleporter from here? Yes, I can! Yes, I can. There we go. Okay. Right, we got there in the end. You can teleport while holding tools. That is very important to remember. Speaking of teleporting while holding tools... Is there anything down there that I'm supposed to be able to see? What's that green thing, huh? Ooh. Ooh. Looking for something that I'm supposed to be able to link it to. Yeah, there we go. Boom. That's definitely something, right? That's definitely something. Okie dokie. So that's probably going to work our way towards a star. Probably not going to give us a star in its own, just on its own, but certainly not going to hurt having that green thing up there. Can I get up there? That's not where I just was. I was over there. Is that number one? Okay. Let's use the palm reader.
One day, undoubtedly, an expedition will pass by this island. It will seek to document facts and statistics, to enumerate reasons for us not to look more closely. That is what we do now. We seek facts rather than truth. Because truth might frighten and unsettle the comfortable people who like to sit in their conference rooms and debate which corners we should cut today. These people like to imagine the chaos that could come one day, like a comforting fairy tale of distant darkness. But they do not see the chaos that is at our walls right now. The chaos that also lives within us. A force that is both necessary and appalling.
I really like the design of this area, you know. I really love the way the puzzles are kind of sort of layered on top of each other. That you can kind of see into them, you can see back, the train station's being held up by this figure over here, and you know, you can see the distance. Yeah, this is a nice area. I like this one. This one I think is sort of geographically more interesting than like some of the others have just been sort of flat-ish areas where you have a bunch of puzzles kind of dropped into it. Hey Melville.
Did something break?
No, just want to talk with you. But whilst we're on the topic, what's going on with the megastructure systems?
I suspect Byron is still logged in, and his presence has thrown everything out of whack. Entire subsystems are locked down, and everything that depends on those subsystems is disrupted. There was a short burst of noise on the frequency we used to communicate, but that could have been anything.
You are very nonchalant about your friend. What can you tell me about Cornelius?
He taught me a lot when I was young. Nowadays, people just know him as the museum curator, but back then, he was closely involved with every engineering project, and he was brilliant. When he encountered a problem, he'd always remain calm and keep working at it until he found a solution. I wish I could be that patient.
Why didn't Athena and Cornelius just both vanish together?
If I had to guess, I'd say so that Cornelius could still go back for anything they needed. He was always leaving on expeditions anyway, looking for materials for his projects.
Makes sense. I suppose being the founder, Athena was always under a lot more scrutiny, perhaps, than Cornelius was. So we can teleport in. That's not going to do us a huge amount of... Oh, what was the clue? The clue here is through the wall. We have a drill. And we have another teleporter. Like, yes, except you can't ever bring a... I think we kind of have to do something a bit like this, right? Ooh, no, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I think we kind of got to do something a little bit like this. Because you can't ever bring a drill through its own hole. So... No, wait, hang on. There we go. So oh no, but you can't drill. Right, you can't drill through there. Hang on. So what we're going to need is we need to have the drill in here. That means being in here with the drill, we could put a teleporter in there. Yeah, so to get the drill into here, we need a teleporter in here and a teleporter out here. But to do that, we need to... I have a feeling maybe we've taken this too soon. Let's put that down there. And then I think what we need... If I drop that there... oh, wait, no. We teleport through here. We grab you here. No, wait. Wow, we can't teleport. We can't pull the drill through its own hole. Wait. So I could bring both teleporters into here, but that's not going to do me a huge amount of good. That's not going to do me a huge amount of good. What I need is I need the drill in there, which means I need to bring the drill out here. To get the drill into there, I need a teleport pad in there, which I have, and I need to get the drill out of here entirely. To get the drill out of here entirely, I need a teleport pad on the outside of here. Can I? Oh, you can't pull it through its own hole. Like, you can teleport through a hole. Oh no, have I just got these stuck? No, not entirely, because I can still place that on the inside. Okay, you can teleport through a hole. But... I'm missing something a little bit, right? Because I would need a teleporter here, right? Such that I can bring the drill with me, right? Bring the drill with me. But how do I get the drill out? I'm like one teleport pad short. I need to be able to teleport back into there, but I don't have a pad to do it with. Like, I mean, obviously I can come and pick this up, go here. So I can get the drill out. Oh, but I can drill this side, can't I? And pull it out. But wait, now everything's out of here. This doesn't look like it's going to do me very much useful. Oh, but that feels really close. That feels really close to the solution now. Because all I needed is for one of these teleporters to be still in there. I wonder if I have to use the ladder in this scenario. No, the ladders are always escape rooms, right? You never have to use the ladder as part of a puzzle. You never have to use a ladder as part of a puzzle. Yeah. So I can bring the drill now back in by teleporting it. Wait a minute. Oh shoot, is it that easy? How? Oh, something's going wrong with me today, right? Like, I'm getting what we need to do, but I'm really struggling to see the path on how to get there, right? Until I'm sort of stumbling into it. Hey, Yakut.
Listening to Miranda talk about beauty made me think. Okay, this might be super weird and kind of pretentious, but I honestly...
You're probably good. You're all good.
What is beauty? Like, where does it exist? Is it just in our minds? Or is there some objective component, something quantifiable? I always thought it was just perception, but if I understand her correctly, Miranda sees beauty as a property of the universe itself.
It's an objective property that we can perceive. It exists in the interaction between the self and the world. I think that's probably the most accurate. Beauty exists solely in our minds. Because, I mean, I believe there are some objective aspects to beauty in terms of, you know, symmetry and proportion, scale, and so forth. But then when you go too far down that route, it becomes a little bit prescriptive, right? So I think it's got to be an interaction of the self and the world.
Interesting. So the more humans there are, the more we spread across the world, the more beauty there is. But then, doesn't it follow that it's our duty as a species to grow? To make the universe more beautiful?
Why? Because why would it be inherently a goal to make the universe more beautiful? I don't really have like a middle option there. Imagine sentience spreading across the galaxy, and as it does, the cosmos coming alive with beauty. Or, we must survive, yes, but grow, no. Maybe the first option.
That's a really powerful image. Beauty flowering in the universe as intelligence spreads. Thank you.
Well,
I hope you're right.
Don't go wildly sycophantic over it or anything. Do we have other things? Oh, yes. What's your analysis of the southern regions?
The southern part of the island is a natural desert, basically just due to the chemical composition of the soil. I haven't been able to work out why it's so warm, though. It could be a warm ocean current or something to do with the megastructure's thermal output. New Jerusalem doesn't have the kind of equipment I'd need to figure that out.
Okay. Do you think Byron's okay?
I hope so. I understand why he was impatient, but he should have been more careful.
And what about Cornelius?
Yeah, everyone knew Cornelius. After Eustathius retired, he was the only one left who was there since the beginning. Except I guess none of us really knew him after all. We all thought he was lost in the past, always studying the archive and the simulation. But he actually had all these secrets. And a daughter.
Are you disappointed in him?
No, just surprised. Maybe a little sad that he felt he couldn't trust anyone with the truth.
What did you do in New Jerusalem when we went back? Well, Miranda said the fundamental language of reality is a kind of music. Thoughts?
I think that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I hope it's true.
What kind of music do you like?
Okay, this may sound like a robot joke, but I love heavy metal, especially the more melodic kind. It's big, it's epic, it's full of emotion. You can really get lost in it. Actually, I named Bruce after Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden. They used to call him the air raid siren, which is also what my Bruce sounds like.
And what did you do in New Jerusalem whilst we were back there?
Mostly just made sure Pellegrino didn't mess up the VTOL. We only have a handful of them, and while they look cool on the outside, the truth is they're held together by gaffer tape and good intentions. There's a reason Melville's always complaining.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like New Jerusalem is really sort of held together with duct tape and string, but it looks very flashy on the outside. Maybe someone needs to sit them down and have a realistic chat about, like, museums are great and monuments are great, right? But, like, reliable power is better. sanitation is better. Not that these guys really need sanitation, but like reliable transport, reliable power. These are kind of more important fundamental aspects of the hierarchy of needs, right? This state of affairs could cost lives. In the future, we won't need them anymore. We have to learn to live with less to be more creative, and you're doing that. Or societies unwilling to invest effort and resources into their infrastructure cannot remain functional. Yes.
When you put it like that, it seems hard to argue. More and more stuff isn't working anymore, and eventually there will be consequences.
Maybe that's kind of the ultimate realization, right? We got a couple of bits. What have we got? The system that runs all the tech on the island. It is pretty much all the tech on the island, from the puzzles to the megastructure, is run by a system called Noema. I've identified a number of obvious commonalities with the software we use in New Jerusalem, enough to be certain that Noema is descended from our own software, although Athena and Cornelius appear to have upgraded it quite extensively. Noema appears capable of interfacing directly with the user's mind at a deeper level than our own technology, although this functionality is not used consistently. Currently, guest users are locked out of all functions, so only 1K can access the system, although he's also locked out of any admin functionality. Because at this point, why not? Teleportation. In some ways, teleportation is one of the less surprising things we've found here, in that at least particle teleportation was known to be theoretically possible. Of course, that's still miles away from these teleporters, which operate on principles that simply contradict what we know of physics. The transfer of matter from one location to another is instantaneous, without an observable wormhole or similar effect. There is, however, a release of exotic particles in the instant of teleportation, which decay within fractions of a second. And we've got a social media post, the Expedition Mega Thread. Please post your thoughts on the expedition in this thread and keep it civil. I think the powers that Athena has unlocked are world-changing, and it's our responsibility to use them to lessen suffering for all living things. We know, we heard your broadcast. I think it's being tested and Byron failed to test. What happened to Byron was an accident. Is there a difference ultimately? Yes, there is. You know what? I was actually thinking more about the conversation I had with Atal and, you know, the reduction of suffering and so on. And I think I might have made a little bit of a faux pas because, oh yeah, should we reduce the overall amount of suffering in the world to a computer is basically the, let's kill all humans trap, right? Because it's like, oh yes, we're going to reduce the amount of suffering to 0. Kill all humans. So, yeah, maybe I made a bit of a critical error in that conversation. I don't know. No one's actually seen Athena or Cornelius or Miranda at the megastructure. They could all still be aliens. I feel like we need to at least think about the potential of all these new technologies. Maybe the founder is trying to teach us how to use them. Why is everything malfunctioning on the island now? Is it because of Byron? He was still logged into the system. His presence may be destabilizing it somehow. Or it's Pandora. She seemed to want to stop the team. Honestly, I wonder if Pandora is just somehow malfunctioning, like she's supposed to protect the megastructure, but she can't tell friend from foe. The choice of Pandora as a symbol cannot be accidental, and the message is obvious. The megastructure is Pandora's box, and we should not open it. Disagree on that, because if the megastructure is Pandora's box, then Pandora would open it. Right? Surely. If the megastructure is Pandora's box, the entity that should be trying to convince us not to open it should be Zeus. But Pandora and Prometheus are just... I don't understand that link, right? Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. Is Prometheus trying to give us the technology of the megastructure so that we can, you know, move forward? Why would Pandora want to stop that? I don't know. Hello, friends.
In the early days, humankind lived in a world of unexplained wonders and terrors. The powers of the elements were understood in terms of gods and spirits. After all, how else could one explain thunderstorms and earthquakes? But as the realm of scientific knowledge expanded, the realm of the mystical began to shrink. The sacred grove, as Hegel wrote, was reduced to mere timber. But as superstition retreated, another thing was lost: meaning. In a purely mechanical universe, people yearned for the comfort provided by gods and spirits. But there was no way back.
But what about the beauty of the universe? The perfection of everything around us, couldn't they see that?
Not sure I can see that, Miranda. But I do think there was another way, a way forward instead of back. Faith not in an invisible world, but in ourselves, in each other, in the inherent value of consciousness and civilization. They never really found it, but I think that in those last months when their whole species was dying, they caught a glimpse of it. And that's how your mother was born.
Alcatraz.
What can I do for you?
What did Mayor Hermanubis say?
He blamed Byron for being headstrong and foolish, which I don't see it quite the same way, but it's easy to understand why the mayor would think that. It wasn't hard to convince him that we can't leave Byron behind, though.
Do you think Byron is still alive?
I hope so. He's always been annoyingly hard to get rid of.
Do you believe it was wrong for our ancestors to create us now? Tell us about Cornelius.
He was the third to be born, after Athena and Eustathius. He was an important figure in New Jerusalem's early history, almost as important as Athena. But after she vanished, he faded into the background. I don't think anyone suspected he knew where she was. I didn't know him that well, but he was always very calm, very thoughtful. Everyone respected him.
Do you like text adventures, Alcatraz?
I do. Although I prefer the term interactive fiction. It's better at capturing what this art form really is. Storytelling, but with a completely different underlying structure. As a category, it's more equivalent to poetry or the novel, rather than, say, film. Why not? Because I'm a joyless, by-the-book pencil pusher?
No.
I'm focused on the mission, 1K, because what we're doing here matters. That doesn't mean I don't have my own interests or don't appreciate art.
Alcatraz has taken that a bit personally.
Anything else?
What was Eustathius like? People rarely talk about him.
He was in charge of planning New Alexandria. It was his mistake that led to the disaster. After that, he retired from public affairs and dedicated himself to his studies.
Most of the first companions seem to be far less active than Byron, I agree.
They've experienced a lot more hardship and tragedy than most of us. I think it's understandable that they choose to focus on their personal interests.
Interesting. Do you ever think your beliefs are a response to what happened in New Alexandria? I wonder what you mean by that.
Am I unduly influenced by my experiences?
Well, everyone's influenced by their
Unable to imagine the better
experiences.
future Byron wanted because I'm too traumatized? Could be.
We're being really mean
But
to
I'd like to think I'm a
Alcatraz in
little
this
more
chat.
self-aware than that. Why do you ask?
You seem very opposed to technology, and we are technology. Just wondering.
Just because I believe we don't need to expand and dominate everything doesn't mean I want us to go extinct. I know there are people who think that way, but if I care about other species going extinct, why wouldn't I care about this one? Seems irrational to me.
Okay, back to our puzzles. Yes, 4 is the next one. What Cornelius was saying about faith and spirituality providing people comfort, it does. But I think it does more than that, and it did more than that historically as well, in that it also undeniably helps create a consistent value structure within a society, right? Oh no, horizontal bars can't be doing. Grab you. Grab this one open. Okay, we've got a hexahedron. That's straightforward enough. Pop you down here. Ah, right. This is the way that we must be going. This is the way that we must go. So if I teleport in with this... Okay. Drop the teleporter down here. Grab you and teleport back. Well, now we don't need anything in there. So, I think all we need to do... grab that. Now, I think next... we grab you and you. Oh, yeah, we can just walk this along, can't we? We can just walk this along, because we can always step on the button. Bit of a funny one. That one, isn't it?
You know, a couple of years back, we went on a scavenging expedition to an ancient industrial complex south of New Jerusalem. It was enormous, sprawling, an area many times bigger than our whole city, just dedicated to manufacturing. It was incredible to think about the sheer variety of things they produced. And it made me realize how austere, how restricted our lives are. You know how most ancient structures are overgrown? It's kind of pretty, but in a sad way. Well, this one wasn't. There had been some kind of chemical spill. I don't know if it happened while the structure was still operational, or if something had just rotted through, but it killed everything. Even centuries later, nothing could grow. It didn't have to happen that way, and history doesn't have to repeat itself. But we do have to remember that it did happen once.
The Sphinxy stars seem to be much more vague than the other sort of directions you get, right? Shoot, so where were we just? We were just in this one, yeah? Is this right? Okay, number 5 is over here. Which way? Here's number 5. Okay, and then number 6 is that way. So wait, so what was then the other way? What's then the other way? Possibly just a bunch of question marks. We will see. I see at least one terminal there. City by the Sea by Eleni K. When I realised it was over, it was all really over for good. I decided to take one last trip to my favourite places before the symptoms got too much. I can never forgive what they did to Chalkidiki, this incredible wild rugged place between mountain and sea with pine trees all the way down to the water. The colours, the vistas, the sheer overwhelming beauty of it all. And they just built all over it. Hideous hotels sprawling like tumours, obscene beach bars blaring their awful music across the sea. Even in Cavoro Tripes, it was impossible not to hate humanity a little for it. The idea of all of it returning to nature, of the hotels gradually sinking back into the reed fields, was moving and beautiful. But then I went back to Thessaloniki, and for all the ugliness inflicted upon that city, the idea that people would no longer meet up beneath the Camara, or go for long ambling walks on the promenade, or for crepes on Platina Navarino was unbearably sad. The idea of the rotunda just standing there empty, after being a sacred place for so many centuries, it made me remember that it's not just beaches and forests that are beautiful, that cities can be more than just streets and noise. Cities can have histories and personalities, and that means something. Who am I writing this for? Do I believe there will be survivors after all? Do I think that crazy robot project I heard about will actually work out? Do I hope that aliens will come to our planet one day and wonder who we were? The truth is, I don't know, but there is something in the love we feel for the beautiful things that we built, as much as in our revulsion towards unnecessary destruction, that matters. Why didn't our ancestors understand that you can build in ways that make an area more beautiful instead of ruining it? Even if all they cared about was personal benefit, wouldn't that benefit them more? In the long run, yes, but people rarely think about the long-term consequences, especially if there's an incentive to act immediately. And yet most of them were unhappy with the results. Couldn't they see that it was within their control to act differently? Solving the wrong problem from L.D. Armands. Can you point me in the direction of a better timeline? Humans are problem solvers is a quote frequently associated with my friend Alexander Drennan. It's become a meme on the internet, used both ironically and not, though Alexandra, of course, is entirely earnest in her dedication to humanity. It's a great thought and vital to understand our species. Footnote, she's also capable of being devastatingly sarcastic, but that's a story for another book. But it's also not entirely as simple as that. Take, for example, the recent extinction of the orangutan and the ensuing conversation about the dangers of unknown pathogens released by human activity. Most of us agree that a problem exists, and significantly, most of us believe that something ought to be done about it. So we've identified the problem, and we have collectively decided to act. So why is nothing happening? That's a serious question. A great deal of effort is expended on raising awareness, but I would like to suggest that sometimes our problem-solving impulses can get stuck on the wrong goals. Awareness is not the issue. We've already convinced people that something needs to change, so if nothing changes, we have to wonder, why is the will of the people not being translated into action? Miranda, maybe the problem was they didn't have enough hope. They could see the problems, but they couldn't imagine that one day those problems could be solved. Athena, it's easy for people to get lost in the problems of the present, but they think nothing will ever change. Cornelius, they lost hope because the historical circumstances they found themselves in encouraged despair, but that in turn meant the conditions could not change. How do you go against history itself? From Hypatia's Journals, Volume 1, The Founding of New Jerusalem, Day 372, Yemo died today. One moment he was there welding a joint on the upper levels of the tower, and the next he was gone. One careless step, that's all it took. Athena brought him to the dam, but even Cornelius couldn't help. Yemo is gone. Now there's only 12 of us. I think about Yemo every day. So do I. You did nothing wrong. You weren't even there. I was.
This is a design for an improved charging station. Fascinating, but not relevant.
Ha! Nice. That's funny. I mean, not relevant. Just casually dropping you a design for an improved charging station, Melville. Like, thank me later. You know, feel free to thank me later. Okie dokie. It's number 5, and Dyad is the clue. However, my friends, that's going to be all we have time for in this week's episode of the Talos Principle 2. Thank you very much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come and join us next week where we'll be doing more teleporting shenanigans, or if you feel inclined, do support the channel on the Patreon to get access to these episodes a week early. I will see you next time. Bye for now.